was a gambling man, I'd say that I think Wichita could actually pick up a couple of points.
I mean, I do think they pick up a couple of points. They're a very impressive team in their own right.
Oh, yeah.
You're just going up against one of the top teams, not in your division, but in the whole NACE Star
Yeah,
League.
it's tough because only today are they going to be an underdog. Otherwise, they are competing for second place in their division. And not just competing, but they're tied for second place in their division. And that's without the game that they're playing right now. Those other two teams have finished their roster, haven't they? They don't have any other games that could bump them above or below that second place line.
It's like if you're in traditional college sports. You know, you can have a great team in your own right, but you know, if you're in football and you're representing, you know, you're representing Somewhereville Community College and you're matched up against Alabama, I mean, you have to recognize, you know, there are certain titans you're going up against. And I always love seeing upset matches in those situations, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Simply, the draft picks for colleges don't work the same way that they do on a national scale. So these legacy teams that start strong and stay strong exist, and fighting against them is a ridiculous challenge to ask for. But today, Windsor is going to be doing it. They're going to be playing against the St. Clair Saints for the second map, and they're off to a tough start.
Cypher Smoke's going to be placed up just to give them a little bit of room to start exploring mid as an option where no one from Windsor has posted up. Maybe the breach, but as of right now, there is no one up in that doorway. Hugh catches the lone strangler, Jakey. So things have been evened up to a 4 apiece. Dog around, spots all of them. St. Clair, their cover is... St. Clair is going to be able to quickly adapt to this.
Yeah, it looks like they're seriously considering it. A little bit of a rotation thrown into mid as that Astra Star is dropped to close off B from mid. They're going to walk right past Mailbox and hit those ropes, being very careful, I hope, of anybody who may have rotated their way around from A. But it's looking nice and empty. Look at this, turning around, sending it back to B and rushing on through Mailbox.
They don't know this angle!
Oh, goodness, never. Sprint into uncontested territory. Was that a bait rotation? They thought they could just pummel on through? Surely not. Those angles were being watched. The win con has changed as the spike has been down in the middle of the field, and Kaz has got to stave off so much. 5 seconds left. Their only hope is to just flash in 180 it. It's not going to be enough. Instinct plows right on through the Sky Flash and finds the last head still above shoulders and closes out point 1 on the count of St. Clair, who lost a first blood that time. This is the first time we've seen him lose a first blood.
Although the Lancers, they got to be thanking their lucky stars that was only a pistol round. Because of that, if Q did not have a classic and they ran past that angle, it would have been a bloodbath.
I mean, anything. Yeah.
Now St. Clair does indeed have a lot more. There's one judge that they've given over to their raise. Curious on how that's going to work. There are a lot of places in mid here where you can post up pretty close.
Look at this round 2 mid readout. They have a pinch situation, which is sometimes a pain to set up. I mean, if that buy round timer is small, so you are mentally committed to mid if you set up for it. But look at this slaughterhouse. I mean, friendly fire is on at this point.
And the worst part of that for Windsor is that their spike is now playing in mid. This Viper, all St. Clair has to do is just watch over mid, and they're good.
Yeah, and ALV had a beautiful 1v1 setup, I mean, at a little bit of a distance, but through their own utility, which could have blocked it, and taken the site all the way up to the default plant site all alone. But sure enough, the win con has changed. I said it last round, I'll say it again. If the spike is dropped anywhere, the game shifts. Rotations have a certain gravity to them. And now they're going to have to take as many 1v1s as they can with so low of health. It's difficult, though. And they're going to cap out at 1 good find and another bad fight. 2 points on the side of St. Clair Saints. And the Lancers now are going to have a good chance to try to make as much money as they can in this next round when they have the gun advantage.
Right now we sort of see that standard Cypher setup on B. Again, it's just so valuable, you having the ability to just set up your utility on one point, and if you want to, just go completely to the other point. You could, and have everything still work.
Yeah, it makes re-hits a little bit stickier, because even if everybody has rotated away from their sites, Hitting again, you could walk into just a whole lot of utility.
Smiley not faltering at all. That could have been a 3-on-1, but still gets his pick. And Instinct comes in with the judge to get a triple. Just one left, and once again, it's their Viper who's gone off to lurk. It's all fine and good. I'm not against having that one lurker. Tough odds against St. Clair, and props to this Viper has consistently gotten one pick to start things off, which is probably a lot of times the best you can ask for. So this game starting much in the same way of the last.
Oh, man, yeah, and that pop-off player here holding on and just guarding these ramps. Look, they go spinning in and just play in a circle, finding one after another. Somebody find the jury, because here is the judge and the executioner.
Oh, and look at St. Clair. They're all positioned. A lot of them are positioned around garage. They might just push
Whoa.
through. No, they're not going to get too ahead of themselves.
Yeah, Giza punishing any fast pushes and immediately rotating. No information for free. Jakey playing against it. Slow walk past the smokes aren't going to give them anything. Looking to, breach light right out of there. That co-op peak. Ready to put so much money onto a single peak, and when they don't find it, they don't even push after it. There is no greed here. They're willing to spend everything to keep a man alive, and you can see it.
Few jump peaks out around the heaven. Dog thrown down. Two dogs going past each other. Oh, yeah, they might just try to change their options by going through ropes, because already things are looking dire in mid. Two more picks from St. Clair.
Last player
Ooh.
Problem is, yeah, you got Giza waiting there.
Yeah, and Giza has help too. I mean, they have controller utility by their side. What a double swing win for the 360 Q. Finds one, but goes down. Or takes key down.
All of these final players for Windsor are doing pretty well. When they're in a 5v1 scenario, they're constantly getting picks or doubles, and you could look at, all the credits St. Clair has right now and say, well, it's no difference, but it does make a huge difference whether you get one pick or two, or whether it's just a flawless. Adds up over each round.
Yeah, that is very true. It's just the extra cherry on top, the extra polish that you get from St. Clair that secures those 1v1s and those a little bit strange situations. And it feels like every time you go down and you're sitting there watching your teammates play and you're thinking, man, yeah, I guess I technically could have done this ridiculous thing and I would have kept myself alive there. They do that. St. Clair takes every mathematical chance they can to get an extra up, never take a fair fight. Look at them. As Instinct finds one and tries to sneak back into the smoke to make it an easy one. The trade comes out. Good fight by Wichita, bringing it, by Windsor, bringing it to a 4-4.
Don't worry, when we get to the second game, you'll be covered in that regard.
I'll be ready. Giza has not much to look at, but we'll look anyways. Jakey trying to make their way around B is the hot spot and the site. Jakey back through the camera. A beautiful flick to pin one. Giza.
That Cypher's cage was just perfectly timed.
Ooh.
He and Kaz both get a pick. It is now in favor of Windsor, but St. Clair has evened it up to 2 apiece. Almost got a side on that Cypher, swinging around the side to get both of them. St. Clair wins by 1, and they'll go up to 5.
Yeah, 5.
You got to give it to their Cypher, because, I mean, that cage went up right when they were... You wish that there was maybe a little bit of molly damage with that, because they were all within.
Yeah.
They were all within it. And those audio cues, when you exit that, were going off like crazy. Start out around 6.
Ooh, a chase. Jakey Trying to sprint on through, but he's just being hunted down, tries to spin back around and find him. Not going to happen. Smiley leading. The pack does get one. Looks to flash out once, now twice. Empties the pack, but it's not enough. Gets absolutely 180'd on an instinct. Find two. Just standing his ground and mowing down those players, which tried to hurt Smiley. It didn't work. Smiley stays alive and runs up to find Paz. The snowball just keeps rolling. Only one player left. The numbers advantage game is St. Clair's game all day. And sure enough, like we said, ALV is going to do great work finding one. I mean, they have no problem with the gun advantage. The Lancers are still just solid players. And when they're being hunted, they find one. But man, Smiley here ready to just throw the entire tool belt on the ground for this peak. Still gets flashed. And it's up to Instinct, who was just behind to find it.
But, I mean, that was great coordination by both of them. They're calling, I'm flashing this corner. You're free to go. Even if I get hit with the bird, you're fine.
You'll come in after. Like you said, just mathematical coordination. Ooh. The camera just barely beats the Sky Flash, and they know all Giza ready to cushion this blow. Just himself takes a 5-man stack. As the noise comes out, it's not quite enough, right? We haven't counted 5 guns or utils, so A-site players are holding on the rotation.
You know, St. Clair hasn't used any ultimate yet. They don't even need them.
Yeah, but we are only missing one ultimate call from Windsor as well. I would not be surprised if we grabbed 1, 2, or even 3 this round just to secure the move into the half.
The last thing you want to do in this scenario is have someone that's currently in B garage to flirt with that Cypher too much. If you get too close to them, he can rip his neural theft, and then St. Clair is their goal.
Ooh. Yeah, and that rotation would be scary.
You
St. Clair would be all
gotta
around
move
you.
as a unit because you don't want him to get too close to that force. And they're gonna dump just about everything in once. The cabbages and showstoppers, but up above gets outplayed by St. Clair. Brings out the showstopper, but St. Clair's race just goes up higher in the air and shoots him down from above.
Just a satisfying use of the blast packs. Look at this aerial offense. Closed out by SF, mowing down the boxes and taking a few collaterals.
Hey, look at that. The blast pack and just up in the air. And all you could see, I mean, how do you even aim for that? You can't shoot her out of the air because you yourself have got the showstopper. And oh boy. So yeah.
A nice ult dump that we totally called. Like you said, they had so many that they were still holding on to. And after you have a round like that where the things have changed, the threats have changed, you've got a lot of utility shift, you're no longer hanging these carrots in front of your own mouth and these nukes over the other people's heads. I mean, having those showstoppers on the field it's such a gamble to have 5 people all on top of each other for that. But now things have changed a little bit, and we can take a step back and we can say, what are we going to do now that the game has shifted a little bit, now that we've got one team with a flawless half down, at least for sure, and the other team which has yet to see a point, and all these ultimates just came out and kind of changed the tensions. What are our buys looking like now? What are our plans? What are our stacks looking like now?
This just shows how much of a terror instinct has been on throughout the whole series. Well, okay, as soon as I say I can even cast or curse myself in replays. It's wonderful.
It's a good skill to have.
I never thought I would outdo myself in that regard, but here we are. All right, back to the actual match.
Ooh! Just absolutely lying in wait. Windsor grabs the first one, and here's the thing. They've left B pretty well unstacked most of the game, except for that one Cypher, so it could be a call, but it looks like they don't want to make it. They're going to let defense reshake out and fill the gaps on B and just play a thinner game on A. It's not a bad call after finding a kill somewhere to let those rotations come out and then hit a different area. Ooh. A fake out onto A? Interesting. What an ultimate use. Oh, Jakey tried to time the jump. It's clearly an A push. Everyone's there. except for that ultimate jump, which could have been made in the perfect
30
respects to be
seconds left.
holding on to an area that is
Oh,
serious
they
demand
were
here.
all grouped up, but that just lines up the rolling thunder from St. Clair. None of them get taken out, but it does keep them at bay for a few seconds. Smiley gets the first pick, even it up to 4 apiece. Hugo's moving in. Kaz gets one around the corner.
Last player
But there is no time left for Windsor to even think about planting. Even if they get this final sky, it's going to go over to St. Clair.
Yeah, that rolling thunder, like you said, keeping him at bay was, for a few seconds, was the only goal. Because if they could have cleared out through there, there was nobody really on site. If we look at the mini-map here, they're all just kind of up in heaven. And or back in mid. So that rolling thunder with just 15 seconds on the clock is so strong. It gives your team all the rotation time they need to then clear up and make a good use of all the flashes that you've got in pocket. What a catalyst play. Now a clean 8 points on the side of St. Clair Saints. And the Windsor Lancers looking to fight the same battle, but this time a little bit faster. They up the tempo, checking all the pre-firing. Oh, it is so good. Empty the clip into empty corners. That's what I say. Pre-fire all day. Beautiful rotations to really take that site fast
spike planted.
onto phase 2 immediately. Gets that plant down. Utilities coming out, and a Viper's Pit in screens. 2 people decide to push it anyways, and it's their fault now. A couple trades going on in screens. Defense does come out on top and is going to disrupt. Oh! Luke paces out that boombot
Oh. Just one left.
and ushers key into the site to find 2 attackers staying strong.
Oh.
SF grabs one and through the wall, looks
Oh.
for another. A ring around the Rosie. Gives it to Windsor. Luke stays alive and secures the first point for the Lancers. And it's all in the pacing. It is all in that beautiful procedural take.
It's also in the Astro Wall here, too.
The Astral Wool was strong, but my goodness, this one was just devastating. Luke, what a great response to that boombot to pace it out, to get your best angle advantage and be running along. Because you can run all you want back there. There's no sound that makes it through that Astral Wall. I mean, it is just eerie trying to peek onto an Astral Wall. You throw in a little bit of utility to try to give yourself some security, and they're just their barrel in the face. Luke found that first one and gave space to find 2 more so that they could stay safe and secure the round with a final one.
And also an opportunity for Windsor to turn things around. They're moving in, wasting no time. St. Clair's waiting, however, and Smiley picks up a triple before he's eliminated. Jakey gets a double, immediately uses the neural theft. Windsor has another opportunity.
Players
Oh, no. They should have been inspecting it too after that neural theft, but a few seconds later, people just keep moving. That is an awkward spot to drop the spike. Sure enough. It is just bad luck walking where somebody else was sniped. It's a shame that the spike goes exactly where that happened. Dropping the spike sure does pivot the game. It was a great neural theft too. I mean, he was just a stone wall here. After the spike drops, it just finds one. Great rotation. Pops the neural theft for all the info they need on low health. Paces around to get the spike, but just takes 1 second too long. And it's dropped from a distance. It was a great first point at a good shot for a second one, but it's not going to be there.
I like that he's playing catch with himself
Yeah.
with his utility. It's always fun.
Good defensive fire. Just being threatening. A little bit of pepper damage. He won't chase in after it, but he sure will think about it. This is a scary ramp to run down. He's already turned his back to it for a little bit. So he's instead watching the pinch angle instead of going live here to 2 different angles. But after those smokes are up, you know it's a rotation out of there. So he's going to get greedy, try to get into that ult orb as we see a rotation through the sewers. Nice and slow. Knives out and crouch down. Giza still thinking about it. I mean, you know that rotates out. Ooh, do you want to follow in after is the question. A little bit of that back and forth. And it's the re-hit? Interesting, though, because this re-hit, you don't know for sure if people made the rotation after seeing your smokes and fly away. And they stayed quiet in the sewers. A lot of times we see people bait out a fake and then re-hit softly, but whoa. Giza and Smiley to shut things down.
I also liked from Giza there how just undistracted he was by that blast pack. The raise goes flying through, and he's like, no, I still got a job to do, taking on the majority of the team.
Yeah.
And picks up a double, then turns around to get the raise. Yeah, here we go. It's just a hot hello, and then immediately he just, in a split second, flicks back and picks up the double like it's nothing.
Yeah, they sure tried to. It looked like it was a distraction play because after double blast blacking through and into some smokes, they just turned right back around to stay safe and try to re-hit from a pinch angle. So the mind games are serious, and they were totally seen through. I mean, just another page out of the book. Fantastic one-way smoke to set up a difficult approach. Oh, and the flash catches SF in the middle of the field, and they try to switch to a short range. It's not enough. Smiley saves him there. After all the thank yous, that was a fast 11th point to give St. Clair an incredible lead. And approaching, as we break into double digits, approaching this match point here.
Now every single one of their players has a positive KDA. Even the lowest, even Giza. I mean, he's the lowest, but we've been seeing great plays from him as well.
Yeah, Giza definitely has a favorite player and favorite site. His performance on this one has been very different, though still strong and still important, playing a very, very irreplaceable role as the Cypher on the stage. I mean, it's the first thing you said when you saw this stage. Instinct and that Trailblazer leading the charge, and a charge indeed as they take the site by force. An early plant is definitely an option. They got to check out screens first. Instinct doesn't want to give off that sound alarm to a nearby Jakey. And as the drop comes out, sightlines are open. They take a thin one for a little bit of damage, but it goes both ways. And Jakey, now low on health, has to return to the back of the ranks. ALV looking to lead the legacy on. Oh no, aiming a bit low, finds one on beautiful pacing, but it is returned. After the 1v1s are out, it's 3v4 left on the stage. Jakey staying strong to find a few more. SF playing back, sees 3 players before taking one on a classic alt-fire. Low on health and low on the refill of the gun. He's got to do it a time again. Smiley from above on the assist. And the newly made attackers are going to take point 1. And it's not even enough time in rounds to get to that bonus. I mean, there's a very, very good chance that this game goes down right here.
Yeah, it's a super awkward position for Windsor because they have to buy here, even though the normal goal is to save. They just don't have any room to work with whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you take the first point and then the second one, you give up that bonus and you play match point, rolling the boulder uphill for the rest of the game. But here, losing that first one makes the second one very difficult. We're off to a flash beginnings as Santa Clara tries to make it a quick round, and they just might do it, holding, maintaining their flawless as they run through both the spawn and heaven. They're just clearing the corners. Key trying to make a little bit of damage, just holding strong. They want to hunt down, which they just may with the boombot. They go live. And Windsor's last 2 players find a trade. But Q closes it up.
That does it. St. Clair, in spectacular fashion, achieves their perfect season. Not a single loss this entire normal season. We'll see if that carries over into the postseason, of course, because with the way they're playing, we could see someone headed for the grand finals.
Well, we are off to at least a very good start, considering now a flawless, not just perfect, but flawless every single map and nearly every round record is going to place them against a nice LCQ winner, and that'll be another uphill battle for somebody else, but that's for another day today.
Yeah, because today we still have one match to go. We have got Fisher versus Wichita State that you are not going to want to miss. But as for this match, I don't think there's too much more we could say. St. Clair has really just taken all the words out of our mouths and let a picture say 1,000 words. We do have, though, post-game content that you always want to stick around for, interviews, just reviewing the game and such. So we'll take a short break, be back with the second game. Don't go away for a minute. We'll be back with more NACE Star League.
Of those raises on the field, doing a little bit of area of